What's good, Commanders fans? My fault, guys. My fault. I'm so late. I am on CP time. I apologize about that, guys. There's a lot of things going on, of course. Uh, but here I am uh, before 8 o'clock, so I will say that. But I apologize about that, guys. I really do. I hate to keep you guys waiting. But what a heck of a season, guys. I do want to say one thing that I did forget to say in my recap video was should Dan Quinn have gone for it on fourth and two or fourth and three or whatever it was on that first drive. A lot of people were saying that he should have. I didn't mind him taking a field goal. Of course, in hindsight, we're all going to say, he should have just went for it. Some people probably should have said he should have went for it at the time too. And we went for it twice on that drive already. And I think he got PTSD from the Lions game on that first drive that we had where we didn't get it. I didn't mind us taking the field goal at the time as well. Looking back at it now that they ran up the score, it's like, okay, maybe we should have just tried to score the touchdown because we would have had to put up points before the game. I thought we could have won the game by only putting up 28, just because I didn't think Jalen Hurts was really going to be effective because of the knee injury. It's just the way that Jalen Hurts was playing anyway. If he was fully healthy, Jalen Hurts was playing like a game manager, but he had a solid game yesterday. He did. He had a solid game. I got to tip my cap to him. He made some good plays. He made some throws. Marshawn Lattimore has just struggled this year. He really has. So he went after Marshawn a couple times and either got a pass interference. The 4th and 5 was just really rough. We had him where we wanted him, and we let him off the hook. Marshawn let him off the hook on 4th and 5. So that was a deflating play, and Saquon did get away with the hold on that play. Like I said, I'm not blaming the refs, but getting back to the decision to kick the field goal, I wasn't mad at it. But of course, hearing difference of opinions and different things like that, if you are going to go for it multiple times on that drive, it's like you might as well keep it going and go for it because we have been really good for it on fourth downs. So that's just something I wanted to bring up because I forgot to bring it up in my recap video and also today in my who should stay, who should go video. And I do want to go over that with you guys. I want to get you guys' opinion on who should stay, who should go. I did see a lot of comments in that video, but I just haven't had a lot of time to reply. So that's why I wanted to do a live stream tonight with you guys, just getting a vibe check as well, checking in with you guys. That's what I wanted to do. And of course, just recap this season. I mean, this was a heck of a season. This was a generational season for us. We have not made a NFC championship since 1991, and that's insane. I wasn't alive to see us make an NFC championship, to see us make it past the second round. We haven't won a playoff game since 2005. So there was a lot of generational curses that we really broke this season. This was awesome. It really was. This was an awesome season. Win, lose, or draw in the playoff game or not making it to the Super Bowl, this still was a really, really, really successful season, especially for our first year, a rookie quarterback at that. Dan Quinn's first year here, a bunch of 1 year free agent signings, guys. Bobby Wagner, 1 year deal. Noah Brown, 1 year deal. De'Ami Brown, a free agent. Who else is on a 1 year deal that we signed? So many guys that we signed. Marcus Mariota on a 1 year deal as a backup quarterback. And Jaden said that in his presser today. He said, or yesterday, he said a lot of rookies, a lot of first year guys, a lot of new guys, a lot of free agents, just a lot of new here. Not much cohesiveness and guys from a previous regime. So for us to do that with a bunch of new parts, new pieces, veterans, we had Zach Ertz starting at the age of 35, Bobby Wagner starting at the age of 35. So many new parts and new pieces like this. Cornelius Lucas starting at the age of 34, splitting snaps with Brandon Coleman. Excuse me, a rookie left tackle. So many moving pieces and rookie pieces, and we still made it this far. 14 wins in a season to come from 4-13 to 14-6 really is unheard of. It really is. So we did basically almost the impossible, the Hail Mary. The Monday Night Football game where Jaden threw the beautiful pass to Terry on third down for a touchdown pass where he got hit sticked after throwing the pass. The college offense, cooking Cam Taylor-Britt, cooking Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, Cliff getting his revenge against them, beating up on the Browns, beating up on the Panthers, beating up on the Titans, beating the Eagles in the second game where Jaden threw 5 touchdowns. So many great moments that we had this season. So there's no reason to hang your head, or you got to keep your head up for sure, because we're just getting started. We're just getting started. I get it. It's very hard to get back to the NFC Championship. It's very hard to get out the first round. It really is. Look at the Cowboys. They haven't gotten to the NFC Championship since 1995, and they've had solid rosters. So we know how hard it is. Josh Allen has only been to the AFC Championship twice. It's very difficult to get back. So, of course, we wanted to take advantage of the opportunity, and I really thought we were going to go all the way. I really did. And I wasn't just being a homer, because we were just hot. We were the cardiac commanders. We are the cardiac commanders. Hopefully next year we're not the cardiac. Hopefully we win some games handily more than the last second victories in overtime. And Marcus Mariota passed to Terry McLaurin, the Hail Mary, and then the overtime pass to Zach Ertz, and the touchdown pass to Jamison Crowder. We're going to have games like that, of course. There's always going to be some close games. It's the NFL, so not every game is going to be a decidable game or a 10-point victory. But this was a historical season. You just see the city, how it was buzzing, the fan base, and we had a home field advantage. I haven't seen a home field advantage in a long time, really ever since the 2012 game against the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. That was the last time I really saw a legit home field advantage game in our favor where we came out and won. And maybe the 2015 Raiders game, Sunday Night Football, where Kirk went crazy, that might have been the very last one, or that was the 2016 season. But just a lot of good things that happened this year. Mikey Sanders still looks like a darn good rookie. It looks like he's going to be good for years to come. Jeremy Chin, if we bring him back, he looks pretty good. Frankie Louvu's a dog. He's all-pro. We had 3 all-pros, guys. We had, 3 or 4? We had Austin Eckler as an all-pro. Frankie is an all-pro. Bobby Wagner is an all-pro. We had Terry as an all-pro. We had 4 all-pro players. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't have 4 all-pro players in a season. Like, that's not the Washington. That's not what we see here. A Pro Bowl Rookie of the Year quarterback. We don't see that a lot. Not a lot of teams see that a lot anyway. So there's a lot of things to hang your hat on and be positive about. And you check the box off on a lot of things for your first year of a recalibration. You set a culture too. The biggest thing to me is we set a culture. We have a culture. We have an example of guys that we really want here. There's some guys that we may have on the roster that we may not. I know Marshawn Lattimore, the way that he answered the interview after the game. Some people are going crazy about that. I'm not a big fan of the way he answered the question either, but I'm not ready to throw him by the wayside like a lot of people are. But I get it if you are. But the main message, like I said, I think we established a culture. We established the way that we want things to be done. We established the kind of guy that we want to bring into the locker room, the kind of person from the top to the bottom, from the staffing, the water boy, whoever. We have established a type of culture that we want here in Washington. That's one of the things that Dan Quinn talked about. I know Dan Quinn and Adam Peters, they spoke today. I did not get a chance to listen to it. We got a lot of work to do. We have a lot of needs for sure that we need to work on and get. Offensive line and cornerback, edge rusher, defensive tackle. What do you do with John Allen, Deron Payne? I know there's a lot of questions with that too, but there's a lot of things to be very, very, very positive about. And I saw some people going at Joe Witt Jr.'s neck today. And even with him, like, you look at the numbers from the defense last year compared to this year, and it's a drastic improvement. So, heck of a season. I hate the Eagles. I hate Philly. I hate Philly cheesesteaks. I used to like Rocky Balboa, but now I don't like Rocky Balboa because of Philly. Meek Mill, I don't like Meek Mill. I don't like Beanie Siegel, Freeway. I don't like any of it. I don't like Philly at all. I can't stand it. I hate Lincoln Financial. I hate it all. I know there's probably going to be some Eagles fans in the comments section as always. They definitely been creeping up and whatnot, but we had a heck of a season. And there were some opportunities we had, guys. I'm going to get to some comments, of course. Of course, the fumbles were terrible. And Jaden had opportunities to come back, but you can't fumble the ball away, and you didn't even give the guy a chance. You didn't give the veterans, unfortunately, did not give our rookie quarterback a chance to come back. We were the Eagles went up 7-3, and then we fumbled. The Eagles went up 20-12. We were in striking distance. We fumbled. The Diami fumble was awful. The McNichols fumble was awful. The Eckler fumble just sealed the darn deal. It's like, I get it. They're punching the ball out. They're doing the Peanut Tillman punch, but you got to hang on to the football, guys. You got to be prepared for that. It's playoff football. And then we had a small chance. The Eagles were up 34-23. We forced a punt. And guess what? We fumbled. Austin Eckler fumbles. We had a chance to go. We had a chance to make it 31-34 with a 2-point conversion, or at least 30-34, scoring 7 points, or even 26-34, which would have been in striking range to tie it up on the next possession if we do get a stop. And then from the jump, giving up a 60-yard touchdown run to Saquon, which is inexcusable. So the defense needs a lot of work. Offense needs some work. But in the end, we have a franchise quarterback. We got a guy. We got a guy that if we go up against any team that we go up against, we feel very, very confident in our quarterback. I don't care if it's the Chiefs. We feel like we have a chance because we have Jayden Daniels. And that's the most encouraging thing. The Chiefs, the Bills, our schedule next year is pretty daunting. It's going to be a second-place schedule this year. It's going to be the AFC West. So, I mean, it's going to be a tough schedule, but we're here for the challenge because we have a quarterback. And that's the most encouraging thing about it, is that we have a quarterback where we can go toe-to-toe against anybody, anytime, anywhere. Why not us? Anybody, anytime. We're going to have a lot of primetime games next year too. So we're going to have a lot of fun with it. It's going to be a long offseason, the draft coming up, free agency, all that good stuff. And like I said before in my previous video, this is the latest I've ever done a who should stay, who should go video. I've always done one in the beginning of January. We've done mock drafts in November and October. We've done who should be the next head coach, who should be the next GM type videos. We don't have to do none of that until now. We're not doing the next GM and stuff. Of course, we have our GM, we have our next head coach for the next X amount of years, and our quarterback for the next X amount of years, many, many years to come. So, but like I said, I had a fun season with you guys, as always. We still got a long way to go. A long way to go on this journey for sure. All right, what's up, Key, man? What's up, man? Key, thank you for the donation. He says, cut every player who fumbled the NFC title game. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I mean, if you want to just not re-sign McNichols because McNichols is not under contract, he's a free agent. If you want to move on from him, I'm fine with that. You need to revamp the running back room. And there's some there's some really good running backs in the draft. I would draft a running back and sign a free agent running back. I like some of the running back. Aaron Jones. I would love to see Aaron Jones on this team. J.K. Dobbins. I wouldn't mind him either. There's some good free agent running backs. I'm not banging on the table to draft a free agent running back. But if you bring in Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb is a free agent. I love Nick Chubb. I know that the knee injury was really gruesome, but I'm a big Nick Chubb fan. I like Nick Chubb a lot. He would be an upgrade from B-Rob for sure. A lot of these running backs would be an upgrade over B-Rob. A lot of them would. So, but yeah, Aaron Jones is somebody I definitely have my eye on. I would like to see us get Aaron Jones. I really would. I wouldn't mind that. I know you got to break the bank for him, and some people would disagree with me on Aaron Jones, but I like Aaron Jones a lot. I've always been a big fan of him with the Packers and the Vikings this past year. So, but yes, to answer your donation, yes. If you want to move on from McNichols, 100%. De'Ami Brown, I would like to bring him back because of the 2 games that he had in the playoffs. We don't make it where we were. We don't make it to the NFC Championship without De'Ami Brown. That's a fact. That is a fact. He had 89 yards against the Bucs on a touchdown. He had 90-something yards against the Lions. I mean, he had an outer body experience. He had an outer body experience in the playoffs. Some guys just show up in the playoffs, and there's some guys who show up in the playoffs and you never heard of them again. David Tyree, the catch from the Giants, I never heard anything about him again after that catch. Joe Jurevicius from the Buccaneers. So I was thinking about this randomly today. Joe Jurevicius from the Buccaneers, who beat the Eagles, who helped the Buccaneers beat the Eagles back in the day. I believe he was a really, really good playoff player, but in the regular season, he didn't really do much. I'm looking at his stats. Yeah, he kind of has De'Ami Brown similar stats. Like Tampa Bay, when he had a really nice he had a couple of touchdowns. With Tampa Bay, he had 1 touchdown. He had 8 catches, 197 yards, and a touchdown in the playoffs in 2002. That's when Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. And that season, he had a De'Ami Brown season. He had 37 catches for 423 yards and 4 touchdowns. My point is that do you trust De'Ami Brown to be playoff De'Ami Brown next year, or is he going to regress to being De'Ami Brown? And I still feel like we need a better wide receiver number 2 than De'Ami Brown. I love De'Ami Brown. I love what he did. He will always be remembered for the Buccaneers game and the Lions game. I definitely want to bring him back. It's got to be a reasonable deal too. He's not going to command a lot in the open market either, because everybody knows what he did in the regular season and what he's done for the past 3 years of his career. But I would love to bring him back. But can you trust him to play like he did against the Buccaneers, like he did against the Lions? Is that the real De'Ami Brown, or do you want to be sure that you're getting a real wide receiver number 2 in T. Higgins or Chris Godwin, one of those guys? So Adam Peters has some decisions to make. I think that's an easy decision. You go ahead and get T. Higgins if you can get him, go ahead and get T. Higgins. If you can get Chris Godwin, go ahead and get him. That's my opinion. Spend the money now while you can before Jaden gets the big contract. Those are my thoughts. Jason Rogers, thank you for the donation, man. What's up, man? What's up, Jason? I see Jason on Instagram all the time, man. He's a huge diehard Commanders fan for sure. He said it's going to take me a month to get over this, but I'll keep my head up. Here's to many more good seasons. Yeah, that's what's helping me cope with the loss for sure. It just the fashion and the way that we lost. We gave up the most points in the NFC Championship history. I think we gave up the most rushing touchdowns in the NFC Championship history. So it's a sour taste for sure. It's unfortunate to see us go out like that and just not help our quarterback out. That was the toughest thing to watch. Just the guys fumble constantly. Every time we had a pulse or a chance to come back, we just fumbled and choked the ball away. We just choked the game away. So you can't look at Jaden at all, in my opinion. I thought he played good enough to keep us in the game and be competitive. But when guys are just fumbling the ball left and right and just giving the ball away and basically doing what we didn't do, basically doing the opposite of what we did in the playoffs, we were the team to take care of the football. Jaden didn't have a turnover until the end of the game, which it really didn't matter. The interception to Quinyon Mitchell, it didn't really matter. And, of course, Quinyon was a goofball and tried to mock Terry when Terry was cooking him in the first half and had that nice touchdown. But we just didn't turn the ball over in the first 2 games, and that was the tail of the tape. Jared Goff had a bunch of turnovers. Baker Mayfield had the fumble, and that's a big reason why we won games. You can't turn the ball over 4 times and expect to beat the Eagles in Philly. You just can't. You can't do that. So that was the toughest thing to see. But shout out to my guy, Jason Rogers. Yes, keep your head up, man. We're going to be good for the next 10 years, potentially, for the next 10 years. And the next year should be a lot of fun. Like Adam Schefter said, a lot of people want to come here and play with Jaden Daniels and play for Dan Quinn. Like, a lot of guys want to come here and play with this team. They see it. They see the culture. They see the change here. They see the change. They see the culture. They see how good Jaden Daniels is, and they want to play with him. Kind of like C.J. Stroud last year with the Texans. And they got Stephon Diggs. They got Danielle Hunter. So I want to see what guys that we can bring in here. Stephon Diggs is a free agent too, guys. I don't want to bring in Stephon Diggs, honestly, even though he's from Maryland. He's from the DMV. I don't want to bring him in. But like I said, you look at what happened with the Texans and C.J. Stroud. Even though C.J. Stroud had a down year, and he still had a good year, they made it to the second round. So you look at the Texans and how they were able to attract free agents and make trades and stuff like that. That's probably what Adam Peters is going to do. So I'm excited to see this offseason. I really am. I'm excited. This is going to be a very, very fun offseason. It really is. It's going to be a fun offseason. DB, what's up, man? Thank you for the donation. He says, we need to sign 2 to 3 big name free agents this year. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a big name, but I get what you're saying. 2 to 3 impactful free agents. 2 to 3 top 50 free agents. I'll just say that. 2 to 3 top 50 free agents. We need a top 5 free agent wide receiver, not playing around with that. I think Christian Kirk is a free agent too. Not a sexy name with Christian Kirk. DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper is a free agent. Tomorrow I'm going to make a wide receiver free agent video. I'm going to be doing position by position this week because free agency is going to come up pretty quick, guys. It's going to come up faster than you know it because it's happening in March. So I'm going to get to free agency first, and of course some draft talk. But yes, they doesn't necessarily have to be big name guys, but it needs to be impactful guys. It can't be bargain bin shopping like Ron Rivera. And you just this is not the off season for that. This is not the off season for a bunch of 1-year deals and bargain bin shopping and signing a bunch of guys on day 4, day 5 of free agency. Yeah, Adam's got to get after it. I know he wants to build through the draft. I get that, but you got to get some Joes in here too, man. This offseason, really, I hate to say it, but you kind of got to tailor this offense. Like, how do you compete with the Eagles? It is what it is. How do you compete with the Eagles? How do you compete with the Eagles? How do you beat the Eagles? This is the kind of offseason that you got to have. DJ Reed, bring him in. T. Higgins, bring him in. Chris Godwin, bring him in. Offensive line. I mean, Sam Cosmi's going to be out for the beginning of the year, guys. Like he said he's about to undergo surgery. Today's January 7th. The first game of the year is in September, like usually like September 10th or 11th or 12th. And the timeline for an ACL recovery is, I know it's getting shorter and shorter year by year because doctors are and technology is getting better. But Sam Cosmi's going to miss it. He's going to miss a couple games next year. So right guard is a need. Left guard Alec Grady was getting beat up or getting beat against the Eagles. He was struggling. He was getting pushed back. Brandon Coleman, he's had some up and down moments, but I thought Brandon Coleman had a good rookie year. So left tackle, is that a need? Is right guard a need? Yes, it is at this point because Sam Cosmi's going to miss a few games, in my opinion, to start the season next year. Alec Grady, to me, is just not good enough. I like him, but he's not good enough. And Biotis is your center, so he's good there. Wiley, they're not going to move on from Wiley. They're going to keep him at right tackle. So it's really three positions on the offensive line that you can be like, hey, we need help. And if somebody's available, go get them. So go get them. That's my thoughts on the offensive line. So the trenches is where we really, really need to focus. There's so many needs on this roster. It's like running back too. It's like you really want to focus on the offensive line, but it's like we need somebody who can hit a home run at the running back position, who can break some tackles, make guys miss, make some shake. Like everybody has one now. A lot of teams have that guy at the running back position, and I like B-Rob a lot. I do, but he's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. He's just not. And we got to admit that. Everybody's going to look in the mirror, do some soul searching. I know everybody did their exit interview today. I love Zach Ertz, but, if you could upgrade at the tight end position, I mean, we'll see. But I like Zach Ertz. I would bring Zach Ertz back. I would definitely bring him back. I like the chemistry that he has with Jaden. Today he said he wishes he was younger because he wanted to play with Jaden Daniels more. He wishes he was 22 years old so he could play with Jaden Daniels more. And that's just how good Jaden Daniels, if you look at the NFL YouTube channel, just the NFL YouTube channel, he has a 54-minute highlight video. 54 minutes of highlights. 54 minutes. That's insane. That's a movie. You can sit down and grab some popcorn and just sit down and watch Jaden Daniels highlights for 54 minutes. That is insane. That's crazy. It really is for a rookie. That is insane. So that's awesome too. I noticed that this morning. They posted it yesterday. A 54-minute highlight of just Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels highlights. All right, Draper's Dogs drinking team says HTTR. Yes, hell to the Skins. Cliff had a good year too. I don't want to forget him. I thought Cliff struggled a little bit yesterday, but the Eagles defense is tough. They have a tough defense. Todd Labor says HTTC, tough loss. Just keep the faith. Hold on a second, guys. Todd Labor says HTCC, tough loss. Just keep the faith. Hold your head up. We'll be all right. It takes time, but we'll be fine. I hope Zach Ertz, Chan, Bobby Wagner, Louis, guys like that come back for 2025. So yeah, I just talked about those guys, and we're a lot throughout the stream. We're going to talk about free agency, like who should stay, who should go, like who do we want to see come back, and all the guys that you named. I do want to see Bobby come back. Bobby had an All-Pro season. Is he not as fast as he used to be? Yeah, that's true. Is he the sideline guy that he used to be? No, he's not. So you can see that on tape, but he's a heck of a tackler. He's a leader. He's a captain of the team. He gets along with Jaden Daniels really well. He gets along with Jaden Daniels' mom very well. He pressures the quarterback. He makes plays. He makes impactful plays. So you got to have him back on the roster. You got to run it back with Bobby. Next year probably will be his last year, but I would not let Bobby Wagner walk out of the building. Maybe you do like contractually with Bobby. Maybe I don't know if he's going to take a pay cut or anything like that because he was getting $6.5 million per year, which is we'll just call it $7 million for that 1 year. Maybe he does take a pay cut. I don't really think it's necessary for him to take a pay cut, but just hypothetically speaking, maybe he does. But I would definitely bring him back. Jeremy Chin, I'll bring back too. Zach Ertz, definitely going to bring Zach Ertz back. Zach Ertz had a really good game yesterday. He had one drop, but other than that, he had 10 catches. I mean, he showed up. He was our best receiver on the team yesterday. He really was. And at times, he had a darn good season. Zach had a good season. He had 11 catches for 104 yards yesterday. He had 5 catches for 28 yards and a touchdown against the Lions. He had 4 catches. He had 2 catches and 23 yards against the Buccaneers, and he had a couple 4th down catches against the Lions. He had at least one. He had at least one 4th down catch against the Lions. He had at least one 4th down catch against the Buccaneers, and he definitely had a fourth down catch against the Eagles. So he's huge on fourth downs. Like him and Jaden have really good chemistry. They get along well. It seems like they like each other a lot too. So that's a big part of it too. Ben Sinnott is like the only thing. Like we do want to see more out of Ben Sinnott. And with Zach Ertz being there, you probably won't get to see a lot of Ben Sinnott unless they let John Bates go, because John Bates is a free agent too. So that's a very important piece there, because he's a really good blocking tight end. And Zach Ertz had 38 first downs this season. He had 66 catches for 654 yards this year. He had a darn good season and 7 touchdowns. He had 7 touchdowns. He played in all 17 games. Started all 17 and played in all 17 games. He stayed healthy too. That was a huge part, because when he was with Detroit, he couldn't get right health wise. Arizona in 2023, he played in 7 games, and then 2022 he played in 10 games. So he was healthy this whole year too. So that's a big part of it as well. So no Yak Zach. I'm bringing back no Yak Zach for sure. Ty Labor, Dante Fowler. Yes, I'm bringing back Dante Fowler too. He had 10.5 sacks on the season. There's no way you don't bring him. He had a pick 6 too. There's no way you don't bring him back. St. Juice, yes, he's gone. He is gone. He's not coming back. I want to see where he ends up in the NFL, though. I really do. I'm intrigued to see if another team signs him. I think another team will sign him, but his career is on life support. It's a support. He really is. His career is on life support for sure. We'll see I'm intrigued to see where he ends up. Kind of like how Emmanuel Forbes right now. He's on the Rams. Emmanuel Forbes' career is on life support as well. So both those guys, both Ron Rivera draft picks, their life is on their careers are on life support. They really are. But Ben St. Juice, I will not bring back. Michael Davis is another guy I'm not bringing back. Nobody wants to bring him back. Nobody wants to bring him back for sure. So he's not coming back. He was a bust of signing. DB, what's up, man? Thank you for the donation again. He says, "Who do you want to take with the 29th pick?" That's a good question. I mean, if the wide receiver from Ohio State is there, Emeka, I mean, he may not be there. Trying to think who else with the 29th pick. See some mock drafts. I know some mock drafts have us taking the edge rusher out of Texas A&M. So I've seen a couple mocks doing that. Luther Burden, if he drops to pick 29, that would be nice. I don't know how realistic that is. So we'll see with that. But it's so weird having the 29th pick. It really is. It's so weird having the 29th pick. Yeah, Kyle Kennard, edge out of South Carolina. I see a mock draft taking an edge rusher. Tackle is in play. Edge rusher's in play. I mean, honestly, so many positions are in play right now for us at the 29th pick. It's so weird to have the late pick in the draft. Josh Simmons, Ohio State offensive tackle. Daniel Jeremiah has us taking him, so I wouldn't mind an offensive tackle for sure. So there's so many ways you can go with it at pick 29. So I'm still gonna do some more research on these guys. I know the Senior Bowl is coming up, so I'm definitely gonna watch the Senior Bowl and look at that, and then start making evaluations on the mock drafts and whatnot. So, but yeah, there's a couple options for sure. There's a good amount of options, but like I said, it's so weird to have pick 29. Mel Kiper, yeah, he has Nick Scorton, defensive end out of Texas A&M. That's who he has us taking at pick 29. So like I said, I'm gonna do some more research and get in my draft bag, and I should definitely be good to go by like mid-February for sure. Leek Hoxa, thank you for the donation. He says we need a running back like Bijan Robinson. Yeah, I mean everybody would love to have Bijan. We would love to have that. We definitely need that. Like I said, I think we should draft a running back and sign a running back in free agency. Same thing with wide receiver. I would draft a wide receiver and I would sign a wide receiver in free agent. I would attack the skill positions. Attack. You have to attack skill positions. You look at I hate to bring up competitors, but you look at other teams in the NFC East, they have attacked. That's why it's so easy for Jalen Hurts. You just take off. You got to take the pressure off Jaden Daniels' shoulders. He shouldn't have to be Superman and put the cape on. He should be able to hand the ball off to his running back and be like, hey, my running back can go get 100 yards tonight, afternoon, whenever. And that's what the Eagles got. Their quarterback is like, hey, I can just put the ball in Saquon's hands, he's gonna give me 150 yards. He's gonna give me 100 yards. He's gonna give me 2 or 3 touchdowns. We don't have that here. We just don't. And a lot of teams don't have that. Don't get me wrong. The Ravens have it. They have it with Derrick Henry. The Falcons have it with Bijan. The Niners had it with Christian McCaffrey last year. But there's a lot of teams that have it. I think Aaron Jones, you can do that too. Aaron Jones, you can do that. The Chargers with J.K. Dobbins, you can do that. James Conner with the Cardinals, you can do it. So there's a lot of teams that do have it, and we just don't have it. And I like B-Rob, but he ran out of gas. He ran out of gas. He was burnt out towards the end of the year. And Austin Eckler is a good scat back, dual threat running back, but when you need those tough yards, he's not the guy to do it consistently. So you got to attack the running back position. You have to. You got to revamp and attack it. And I do like Chris Rodriguez too, but they were yanking him around, practice squad, releasing him and whatnot. So you can't really rely on Chris Rodriguez, even though he's a good player. But yes, I would attack the running back position. Yes, I would love to have what's his name, Bucky Irving, Jahmyr Gibbs, like all the running backs that we played against in the playoffs were leaps and bounds ahead of what we got in our running back room. And it's just what it is. You got to look in the mirror and say that. There's no way you can get better without looking in the mirror. And when you looked across the field, just like that Cat Williams meme where he's talking to Shannon Sharp, and he was like, you're the other team, you can have the best facilities and the best this, but when we get up on that line, boy, this is what we're going to do. And that's what we did to the Lions. That's what we did to the Lions. That's what we did to the Buccaneers. And we beat them because, that day we were the better team. That day we were the better team. Did they have the better roster than us? Yes, the Lions had the better roster for sure. The Buccaneers, you can argue they had the better roster. They had the better running back for sure, and Bucky Irving for sure. And the Eagles just had the better roster. They just do, and that's a fact. But we were playing with our hair on fire. We were playing above our roster grade. It just didn't matter. Whoever you lined up against us, we went out there and fought, and that's what we were doing. And next year, it needs to be easier on Jaden's shoulders. You got to give him another running back. You got to get him another receiver. You just have to. And upgrade the offensive line. You just have to. Jaden should not, like the last 7 games of the season, the leading rusher was a quarterback. I heard that on the radio today, and that's inexcusable. Marcus Mariota led us in rushing against the Cowboys. Jaden led us in rushing against the Falcons. Jaden led us in rushing against let me pull up the game log real quick because that's inexcusable. He shouldn't have to do that. He should not have to do that. That's not fair to him. Life isn't fair. I get it. He's a rookie quarterback. But he shouldn't have to lead the team in rushing yards. 5 out of the last 7 games of the season? Like, come on now. Come on now. A rookie quarterback having to do that, that's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. Jaden had 127 rushing yards against the Falcons. Like, we were doing triple options and power runs with Jaden Daniels against the Falcons. On 4th down, on 4th and 3, we were doing stuff like that. 81 rushing yards against the Eagles. B-Rob was non-existent that game. 2 fumbles was awful. New Orleans, he led us in rushing with 66 yards on the ground. B-Rob finally had a good game against the Titans. He had 34 rushing yards, 74 rushing yards against Dallas. B-Rob was non-existent in that game too. Some of it is on the offensive line. I get it. But that's how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the Dallas game, he didn't lead us in rushing because Marcus Mariota did. And if Marcus Mariota didn't have that crazy run on 4th and 1, the run game would have been non-existent for the most part. So the point is, you have to get a better running game next year. It cannot be on a rookie. Should not have had that much load on his shoulders. Because even Bo Nix had more help than what Jaden did. You can look at it defensively because he had a way better. Statistically, the Broncos defense was way better than our defense. I gotta look it up, but I know at least the Broncos defense, they were getting pick sixes and scooping scores and stuff like that. We didn't do that until the Lions game to get a pick 6. We had a pick 6 against the Panthers, but the Broncos were like consistently doing stuff like that. And you look at it historically, Joe Flacco, all the quarterbacks that made it to the NFC Championship, you look at what their defense was ranked. Joe Flacco, Ravens top 5 defense, Ben Roethlisberger, top 5 defense, Mark Sanchez, top 5 defense. Who else? Brock Purdy, top 5 defense. Look at the offense surrounded by Brock Purdy at Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, McCaffrey. So you gotta load this roster up. So Adam Peters, I'm looking straight at you, man. It's your time. It's your time to make it shine. It's your time to shine, Adam Peters. Sean Stauffer says, What would you do with Jonathan Allen? So Jonathan Allen, he had the last couple games that he did play, he was impactful. I don't know if he was really impactful yesterday. Of course, I mean, I'm not just going to single him out because it's not like the whole defense wasn't good yesterday either. And the late hit was terrible. In my opinion, I thought it was a football play just because. So Bobby Wagner is going to make the Pro Bowl, guys. He's replacing Eagles linebacker Zach Bond. So congrats to Bobby Wagner for making the Pro Bowl once again. I feel like there's some other guys that are probably going to make the Pro Bowl to replace guys. I'm actually going to watch the Pro Bowl for the first time in years because Jaden Daniels would be in it. Bobby Wagner is going to be in it. Terry's going to be in it. So that's the only reason why I'm going to watch it. And even though it's flag football, I just want to see what Jaden does and how he plays. I know he's going to have fun. I know a lot of guys are going to be joking around with him. I want to see which guys try to attach themselves to him because I know like Michael Parsons is probably going to be trying to attach himself to Jaden, like the whole, you know, like the little games that they do the day before where they joke around and do like little, kind of like the All-Star game where they do like little dunk contests, not a dunk contest, but like little throwing stuff. And then the players joke around. You get to see like who they become buddy with and stuff like that. I am intrigued to see. Did Malik Neighbors make the Pro Bowl? Because I know if Malik Neighbors is going to be there, I know him and Jaden are going to be buddy the whole time. But besides that, back to Commanders football for sure. Bobby Wagner has made the Pro Bowl. So that is good news. I know people don't give a crap about the Pro Bowl anymore, but it's just interesting that he made it. So congrats to Bobby Wagner for making the Pro Bowl, replacing Eagles linebacker Zach Bond. Zach Bond had a good game yesterday. I mean, once again, you just got to tip our cap to the. I hate to do it, but you know they were the better team yesterday. They just were. They were. So what would I do with Jonathan Allen? I wouldn't mind keeping him, actually. I really wouldn't. I know people don't want to hear that, but I actually wouldn't mind keeping him. Let me pull up his contract here and what his cap hit is and all that. How much does he have left on his deal and his contract? The Lions game, he had 7 pressures. He played well in that game. We don't win that game. I'm not going to say we don't win that game without him. We probably could have still won the game without him, but he did help. Getting pressure on Jared Goff, so he was instrumental in that win. So I'm not going to take anything away from Jonathan Allen. And before he got injured, he was actually starting to play better. He had a sack on Baker Mayfield. He had a sack on Kyler Murray. So he was starting to wake up. He was starting to wrap up and finish plays. Because the first game of the season against Baker Mayfield, he just couldn't wrap up. He couldn't tackle. He couldn't tackle to save his life. But he was starting to play better before he got injured. So Jonathan Allen, his next season is his last year on the deal. 2025 is his last year. He's going to get $15 million. His cap hit is $22 million if you release him. So I guess it's not really wise to release him. You probably got to trade him, if anything. So yeah, $15 million per year, $470,000 signing bonus and a workout bonus for $500,000. So like I said, he's a free agent after next season. $31 million guaranteed, per game active bonus of $58,000. And salary, $2.5 million of 2023 salary, fully guaranteed on March 17, 2023. So that has already passed already. So that is the contract for Jonathan Allen. And I do need to go over the cap as well and see. Like I said, the cap hit is not great. It's not great if you release him. So I know people want upright releasing him would be dumb anyway, but trading him. If you can get a 3rd round pick for Jonathan Allen, yeah, you want to think about that. That's something you want to think about. That's something you want to think about for sure. If somebody comes up to you like the Falcons or the Niners or somebody like this, like we'll give you a 3rd round pick for Jonathan Allen or something like that, then yeah, that's something you definitely pick up the phone for that. You definitely listen to that. So draft day will tell all. I think if they trade him, it probably would be around draft day. So, but like I said, if it was up to me, I wouldn't mind keeping him. But like I said, if somebody's knocking on the door and said, we'll give you a 3rd round pick, then you definitely consider it. You definitely consider it for sure. Deron Payne was a disappointment that he didn't play. Yes, it was. I guess he had to be in grave pain for him not to play, though. With the knee injury, like he must have been in immense pain to miss the most important game of his career and the biggest game of the Washington Football Commanders, Skinmanders franchise in 33 years. So for him to miss this game yesterday, he must have been in immense, intense pain. He had to have been in pain. Had to have been in pain. So just randomly thinking about the calls. Saquon Barkley did hold Frankie Louvu. I thought the hit by Mikey, I thought honestly it was a little ticky tacky, but it is what it is. On Saquon on the late hit, but you got to be smarter than that. Sean Hockley, he's terrible. He loves the Eagles. He's an Eagles fan, a diehard Eagles fan apparently, because the Eagles are undefeated when Sean Hockley refs their games. So I don't think they should let Sean Hockley ever ref an Eagles game again. Like if Roger Goodell lets that happen, that's just malpractice. It's malpractice. It really is. It's malpractice. Other notes about the game. Trying to think anything else to touch on about the game yesterday, or just move on from it. But just some of those calls. Oh, Jalen Carter, trying to gouge out Tyler Biadasch's eyes. Like, he should have been tossed, and then he slapped him in the face again and got away with it. So Jalen Carter, I know people on social media were talking about his, the car accident that he had. So I'm not going to bring that up, but you guys know what I'm talking about. But Jalen Carter, like, he literally gouged out his eyes to try to gouge out his eye. It was really, that was not a football play. Like, he got called for encroachment or offsides, and the next thing you know, he just digged in Tyler Biadasch's eyes. Like, that's not a football play. So I thought he definitely should have at least a unsportsmanlike conduct or a personal foul. Like, something should have happened. They do need to ban the tush push. It's just not a football play. And the center's head was clearly over the line and over the football. And I like how Frankie jumped over and slapped Jalen Hurts in the head. I like that a lot. I don't give a crap what people say. I don't give a crap. I like what Frankie did there. I like that I like that he did it again. I like that he jumped over the line and he called it the Luvu leap. I like it. I don't give a crap. They need to ban that play. It's not a football play. It's really not. Like, a lot of those guys are off sides and they're moving and whatnot. It's not a football play. They need to take it out of the game of football. I think it hurts in the integrity of the game, in my opinion. That's my thoughts on it. So yes, Jonathan Allen. Like I said, I mean, last year was probably the year you would have got the most trade value for John Allen. I think right now you probably got a 4th round pick for him. I think at best you get a 3rd. You're not getting a 1st for Jonathan Allen. Nobody's going to trade a 1st, and nobody's going to trade a 2nd round pick for Jonathan Allen. So I think at best you get a 3rd or a 4th. He's got one more year on his deal, and you're not going to just outright cut him. So if they decide to keep him, like I said, I'm fine with that. I'm on board with keeping both of the Bama wall. I know everybody's against that right now, but you got to have a backup plan. Is Johnny Newton, is he ready to take on a starting role? Is he ready for that? Sheldon Day would be your backup. So if I know you guys are so ready to move on from those guys, but who's going to be your replacement defensive tackles? What's your backup plan for just getting rid of Jonathan Allen? If you guys can tell me that, then, let's make a move. Let's make a move. You got to keep in mind too, we only have 5 draft picks. We don't have that many draft picks. We really don't. That's the crazy thing about it, because we traded those picks for Marshawn. We traded the 3rd round pick that we had for Marshawn, and then we traded a 1st round pick as well in the Marshawn deal. So we don't really have a lot of picks as much as I thought. We don't have. I think we only have like 5 picks. We don't have a 6th round pick either. Excuse me, I believe. I don't think we have a 6th round pick. But let me look this up real quick. I just want to be accurate. I want to be accurate about this too. Where Commanders will pick up. Just looking at an article real quick just to see how many picks we have. And of course, we're at the end of the draft. We're at the 29th pick of the draft. So that's something too. That's something to keep in mind there too. All right. Yeah, we have, how many picks do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 2 7th round picks. We have 3. I'm looking at this one website. We have 3 7th round picks. And we have a 5th, a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 1st. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 picks according to this website. So, and 3 of them were 7th round picks. So, we got to see what Adam does if he wants to move up and get some higher picks. If he wants to package some 7ths and move up into the 5th round somehow and make something shake that way. So those are my thoughts on Jonathan Allen. You guys let me know what you guys want to do about Jonathan Allen. You guys want to comment that in the comments as well. What's your thoughts on Jonathan Allen? What you guys want to do with him? But like I said, if they're not going to give us a 3rd round pick, then you might as well keep him, in my opinion. And then I guess you get the compensatory pick in a couple of years once he leaves. If he does leave and we don't bring him back. You may have to extend Terry McLaurin too. That's something to keep an eye on too. I think an extension may be coming, or it probably is going to come, and he probably wants more money than just $23 million per year, and he deserves it. He does. He deserves Terry. Terry deserves more money. If you're going to bring in somebody else like T. Higgins or sign somebody else too, then you got to pay Terry more money. It is what it is, and he doesn't complain about it either. That's what I like about Terry. But contract wise, you're probably gonna have to up his deal. You probably have to up his deal. So I'm looking up how much he's making this year too, just to make sure. He is making, excuse me. Yeah, Terry's getting about. I don't know why Siri just keeps freaking talking to me. Yeah, he's getting about $23 million per year. All right, so Jay Hunter Lee, thank you for the donation. He says, "Brother Ed, this is the worst roster we're going to see. Question: How high on the priority for a running back and another receiver this offseason?" Yes, this is going to be our worst roster, and that's the scary thing for the NFL. That's the scary thing for the league. This is the worst the roster is going to be. This is the worst the roster is going to be by far. Running back is a high need. There's so many needs we have. It's just ridiculous. But like I said before, man, I would draft a running back and sign a running back. Same thing with wide receiver. I would draft a wide receiver and sign a free agent wide receiver. I think you need another proven commodity, a wide receiver. I think you need a guy that's been in the league for a couple of years that has been there, done that, has shown wide receiver production, like 1,000-yard type production. And the only guys in free agency that have shown that is Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, of course, Chris Godwin, DeAndre Hopkins. He's on the older side, but I could see Cliff doing something like that. I don't be surprised if we do go after DeAndre Hopkins. That would not be my first option to be wide receiver number 2. He's had a solid season this year. He's not terrible, so he's still pretty good. But look at the wide receiver free agents: Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins is the easy one right there, and Stephon Diggs. I would pass on Stephon Diggs. Just too much going on with him right now. And those are the guys I'm looking at for sure. After that, for me, I'm not really banging on the table for a free agent. There's only really 3 or 4 guys that I'm really looking at. The 4 guys is T. Higgins, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. So it's really 3 for me. It's really 3, and I'll take DeAndre Hopkins. I'm not like, oh, we need him or whatever. But if you look at free agent wide receivers, those are the 4 guys that I would be fine with being wide receiver number 2. And then other guys like Brandon Cooks from Dallas. No, I'm good on him. Keenan Allen, 32, 33. He still had a decent season, but that would be underwhelming. That would be an underwhelming signing. Mike Williams from the Steelers who's with the Jets and who's with the Chargers. That would be an underwhelming signing. Hollywood Brown, who has history with Cliff. That would kind of be an underwhelming signing, but Hollywood Brown is not terrible. He would be able to take the top off the defense. And then you're looking at wide receivers like Darius Slayton, Demarcus Robinson, Nelson Aguilar. So really day one, like Adams got to be aggressive. He's got to be really aggressive with the wide receiver spot. And then running backs in the draft, there's so many running backs, both Ohio State running backs. But will we be able to grab one of those guys like Quinshon Judkins, Trayvon Henderson? I know everybody loves Cam Scatabo. Ashton Genty is a little above our draft capital. So we're not gonna be able to get him. So there's a lot of guys. This is a really loaded draft, running back draft class. But I would still sign a running back in free agency too. I wouldn't just stop at the draft. I would not stop at the draft. I would keep attacking, trying to upgrade this roster. I really would. So, but this running back draft class is really good. There's some really good guys. There's some really good guys in this class for sure. Marion Hampton from North Carolina, him as well. He's really good. Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. There's a lot of good running backs. There's a lot of guys that you can get in the draft, and there's a lot of guys that you can get in free agency. That J.K. Dobbins too. There's a couple guys that you can really get. Devin Neal from Kansas had a good year too. There's a lot of good running backs in this draft. This is the draft to grab a running back. It really is. But how high do you want to take a running back? That's the thing. Jay Hunter Lee, thank you for the donation again. I appreciate you, man. He says, do you think Lattimore was in game shape? I mean, it's been weeks, man. Like, he didn't play in the Dallas game, so he played in the Buccaneers game. He played in the Lions game. So that's 3 whole weeks to be in game shape. Like, and then John Keim said, like, if it was a playoff game, like if the Dallas game was a The last game against Dallas, if that was a playoff game, John Keim said that Marshawn Lattimore could have played or would have played. So apparently he was healthy enough to play against Dallas. And he sat out. We rested him and all that. And, he got beat by Mike Evans. So has it been a disappointment so far? Yeah, he has. He's been like, let's be real. Let's be honest. Like when we traded for him, I was like, man, he's going to be locked down. He's going to take certain guys away. He's going to be an island. He's going to take the top wide receiver away, like AJ Brown, Mike Evans, guys like that. He's going to shut those guys down. He's going to get in the fight and shut them. He's done the fighting part, but as far as shutting somebody down and taking them away, he's done that. He's done that twice. He did it against the Saints, where the Saints didn't challenge him at all, and they didn't have a wide receiver 1 or 2. Marcus Valdes-Scantling was the best receiver on the Saints, and he's a wide receiver number 3 at best on a playoff team. And then the Lions, they just didn't throw his way. They didn't throw his way for whatever reason. So, and then when teams do challenge him, he's gotten penalties. So he struggled with that for sure. So yes, he has been a disappointment so far. And then his reaction after the game, I didn't like his answer after the game. Yeah, I don't like his answer after the game. I didn't like that at all. There's a stat about how many penalties he's had on the season so far. Yeah, so this is from Nikki Javala. In 5 games with Washington, Marshawn Lattimore has totaled 6 penalties for a loss of 96 yards, which helped set up 20 points for opponents. And a lot of his penalties do put teams in the red zone. They really do. They put teams in the red zone. They put them on the 1-yard line. Those are the kind of penalties that he gets. I thought the one against Devontae was a little ticky-tacky, but they called it. And he got away with the hold on Dallas Goedert, honestly. Like they could have called that too on Dallas when he was guarding Dallas Goedert. Like if they wanted to call a penalty on Marshawn, they could have. They definitely could have. So I mean, he's got to clean it up next year. So we'll see. We have him under contract for next year. I believe we have him under contract for the next 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. We have him under contract for the next 2 years. Does he fit the culture here? That's a question mark. So yeah, 2025. We do have a potential out with Marshawn. We could actually cut him with a $0 dead cap hit. We could cut Marshawn. There's a potential out, 4 years, $56 million, and a $0 dead cap hit. Potential out after 2020. I'm sorry, no, potential out for 2025. So yeah, we could actually release him, but I don't think we need to do all that. I don't think that's necessary. So next year he's going to make $16 million with a $2 million roster bonus with an $18 million cap hit. And then 2026, we have him under contract as well for $16 million and a $2 million roster bonus and $18,500,000 cap hit for 2026. So those are the numbers on Marshawn Lattimore. Those are the numbers on him. So I'm rooting for him. I want to see him bounce back, but he has to play better football. He just has to. He has to. Marcus Purnell says Jonathan Allen will restructure that and they'll give him signing bonus on low basis to save on the cap. That is something that we have not done. We haven't done what do the teams usually do? They allocate the roster bonus or the signing bonus or stuff like that. They restructure the contract and do stuff like that. That's something that we haven't really done in the previous years, like restructure contracts and stuff like that. Like we see teams do that all the time. We don't really do stuff like that. So I am intrigued to see if that's something that Adam Peters does. Like if he could get Jonathan Allen to restructure his deal, we'll see some other guys, but that will be intriguing. J&E says, nah, give Lattimore a full offseason in a new program like Adam P said. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, I am giving Marshawn the benefit of the doubt. It was a chronic hamstring injury. That's what I think either Ian Rappaport said that. Somebody said it was a chronic hamstring injury. So give him a full offseason. Give him a full offseason working out with Joe Witt Jr. and the other guys on the defensive staff, the whoever the secondary coach is. I think his name is Jason something from who's on the Raiders. And we'll see what Marshawn does. Now, if Marshawn plays bad next year, then move on from him. So give him a full offseason. Give him a full offseason to get acclimated with his teammates and get acclimated with the coaching staff, and let's see what happens from there. and he can have a bounce back season. We've seen guys have down seasons and bounce back the next year for sure. We've seen that before. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. Did he play well for the majority of the season? No, but let's see what he does next year. We were undefeated. We were 4-1 when Marshawn Lattimore plays. 4-1. Excuse me. Sebastian Gaston says, "I trust that Josh Harris and Adam Peters will do what's best for the team." I do too. I believe in those guys. I like those guys a lot. I like Lance Newmark too. I think we have a good front office. I think we have a good staff. We have an owner that is not going to meddle with team decisions and whatnot. We have a GM centric approach where Dan Quinn doesn't have to worry about signing guys and drafting guys, which is good. So I think we have a really good ecosystem and a good culture here for sure. Mass Collector says Lattimore trade aged poorly. He's undisciplined. Cut or trade, cut bait. I can't argue with you right now on that, but like I said, I would just let's see what he does next year. That's my answer to that. See what happens next year. See what happens next year. You gave up the draft capital for him. You got to kind of see. You got to see it through. See it through and see what happens. If he doesn't play well next year, then yes, let go. I'm not going to treat him like Josh Norman and give up on him right now. Excuse me, but I would see what he does next year. Those are my thoughts on Marshawn. Has it been a disappointment so far? Yes, it has. Yes, he has. He has been. Raymond Johnson says Deron Payne probably going to stay and they will trade Allen. Let's see. I mean, we'll see. The future will tell. We'll tell on what happens with those two guys, the Bama Wall. But I think they're both going to be on the roster next year. I think both will be on the roster next year. Mass Collector says Devin Neal or Cam Scatabo probably go to Denver and Washington. LOL. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if Denver really needs a running back. I know they have Javonte Williams, but they definitely could use another running back. But yeah, Devin Neal, either one. Like I said, it's hard to go wrong with the running backs in this class. It's a really, really good running back class. I really like Quinshon Judkins out of Ohio State. I like Trayvon Henderson out of Ohio State. I like those guys a lot. Dylan Sampson out of Tennessee. There's some Mario Hampton out of North Carolina. But some of those guys are just too rich for our draft status at 29. And, drafting a running back in the first and second round, of course, is, dicey. But we've seen some running backs go in the first round, like Jahmyr Gibbs, Saquon Barkley go in the first round. And they've Bijan Robinson has played really well, too. So maybe I know all the experts say don't spend a high draft pick on a running back. But for this team, I mean, I just think Jaden could use a really good running back. He really could. That would just help the run game. Like, the run game should be so much easier. When you have a dual threat quarterback like we do, like, the run game should be as hard as it is for us. It's really hard. It's really tough for us to run the football, which is really just – it can be a little mind-boggling at times. It's a struggle for us to run the football. It really was. And some of it – a lot of it is the personnel. A lot of it's the personnel. DJ Uncle Verge says, yeah, we need to be mean and physical. Yeah, we need to, like just punch Jalen Carter in the face. I think Frankie Louvu does stuff like that. But, we have a lot of character guys, which is good. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing sometimes. Sometimes you need to be an a-hole. I think we do have some a-holes on the team like Frankie Louvu. But like Jalen Carter, what he did, somebody just needs to punch him in his face. That's what we need to do sometimes. Ananaku, the shiny one, says need a better run scheme. It's not the Lions' fault. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's a lot of things you can talk about. The line is not innocent. Brian Robinson's not innocent either. So it's a combination. Cliff sometimes is not innocent either. We got a downhill bell cow running back. Our offensive coordinator doesn't use any downhill running formation. It's spineless gun runs all day with a running back with zero lateral movement. So yeah, I got to look at the percentage of gun runs that we do. I know we do a lot of stuff out of shotgun because it's successful with Jaden because he does a really good job running out of the gun with the read option, the RPOs, different things like that. So maybe they need to switch up the personnel and get a running back that could fit what Cliff wants to do. Maybe B-Rob is just not that guy. And remember, it's the first year, so they don't have all the guys that they really want, just like defense. Like defense cornerback, we had to go into the season rolling in with Ben St. Juste as your starting corner. Emmanuel Forbes was a starting corner. Michael Davis was awful. Noah I and Mikey Sanders still. So they had a lot of guys on the roster that were from the previous regime that, they just didn't, they didn't move on from just yet. But I think this all season they'll have more money and more capital to bring in their own guys, especially with the second year, for sure. So I think they may get a running back that fits what Adam Peters wants to do or what Dan Quinn and what Cliff Kingsbury want to do. I'm not saying B Rob wasn't that guy or is not that guy, but I think they can go ahead and get a running back that kind of fits what they may want to do. Matt Selection says should have cut Ridgeway. I don't think Ridgeway would have changed the outcome of the game, but I do like John Ridgeway. Big Simple, man. Shout out to Big Simple. Make sure you guys subscribe to Big Simple, man. Hit the notification bell. Check out his channel, man. He has a great channel. He's been doing Commanders football content for years and years and years and years. He's an OG in Commanders football content, so make sure you guys check him out. Shout out to Juan Gotti talking sports. I know Juan was in the chat too. Make sure you guys subscribe to Juan Gotti. He's a great Commanders content creator. He's also doing Juan in the mornings. He's doing a morning channel, or he's doing live streams in the morning at like 9 a.m., I think. So make sure you guys check out Juan Gotti. He's a great Commanders content. These guys have been doing it for years and years and years. So make sure you guys check out their channel. Big Simple says, Ed, you know what we gained back in Washington, D.C. When it comes down to our football team, respect, man. Yeah, there was a pep rally down at Union Station and all over the place, like a bus driving around the city. So the fan base is definitely coming out for sure. I love it. I love to see that. Jager Edit says Super Bowl or bust next year. I mean, we'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know if it's Super Bowl or bust, but I love that people are thinking that way. Like, that's the standard that we have now. It's like Super Bowl or bust. If we don't make it to the Super Bowl, it's a bust. Like, who would have thought that? Now, like, this year going into it, it was like, let's just see if we got a quarterback. And now year 2, we're talking about Super Bowl or bust. So I wouldn't take it that far to say Super Bowl or bust next year, but you got to win a playoff game, in my opinion. I think it's a disappointing season if you don't win a playoff game. Kind of like I said with the Texans, if they would have lost in the first round, I think it would have been a disappointing. It was a disappointing season for the Texans too, still. But I think for us, I think bare minimum is winning a playoff game. Like, the standard for us is winning a playoff game, and it's fun to say that. That's awesome. That's so awesome to say that. Year 2. If you would have asked me in September, year 2 is win a playoff game or bust, I would have been like, oh, man, I don't believe you. Honestly, I would have said that. But year 2 for me is win a playoff game or bust. I think for me, even though it's a tough schedule, I think in my opinion, the way I'm confidently thinking now of this team, because we have a quarterback, we should win no less than 11 games next year. It should definitely be no less than double-digit wins from here on out. With a healthy Jaden Daniels, it should be no less than double-digit wins. That's just me for the next 10 years. For the next 10 years. For the next 10 years, it should be no less than double-digit wins. Those are just my thoughts. No less than that. It's a disappointment. It's a disappointing season if we don't win a playoff game next year. And it's hard to win in the playoffs. It is. It's hard to win in the playoffs. Look at the Bills, like I brought up. The Bills with Josh Allen have made the AFC Championship twice since 2020. So you got to keep that in mind. And we got a tougher schedule next year. So Super Bowl or bust, it may be a little too high of expectation, but I love that. I'm not against you. I'm not against that. I love that way of thinking. I love it. I love it with a passion. Delano Meyer says we can go so many ways. Big off season coming, most exciting in years. Yes, man. I'm excited to see what Adam Peters does with the salary cap space that we have. We got top five salary cap space. We have about six or seven draft picks. So Adam Peters has the capital to make something shake. I mean, he can make some trades too if he wants to do that. There's a lot of ways that he can do it. There's a lot of ways he can do it, or he can trade some of the guys that we have. I know everybody wants Jonathan Allen to be traded. You could possibly trade Jonathan Allen and get a draft pick and add some draft capital there and load up on some other talent doing that too. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways, a lot of things that Adam Peters can do. So I'm excited to see a GM do his thing here. We haven't seen that in a couple of years, and not a coach centric approach. So that's what I'm excited to see this all season. Excuse me. Augustine the King says, I don't know. We're not picking at 29. I know that 1,000%. Yeah, we are pick 29 if you didn't know that. When you're a good team, that's where you pick. We are pick. I wanted to be pick number 32. I really did. I wanted to be pick number 32, but we're pick 29. So we are pick 29. It's unfamiliar territory. We're usually picking at pick 10. Jamin Davis was pick 19. Emmanuel Forbes was pick 16. So we've been that middle tier pack. We've been that 8-1 and 7-10 and Yeah, 7-10, and I'm trying to think of the previous regime records. We were usually like 7-10, 8-1, or 8-9, like records like that. And then we bottomed out and got Jaden Daniels, and now we're gonna be in the 20s from now on in the draft. So be used to this, guys. Be used to being pick 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Be used to being that one of the last picks in the draft, which is an awesome feeling. That's awesome. I'd rather be that than anything else, for sure. Vegas Jim says need a big fast number one rookie corner, Lattimore number 2, and Sam still in the slot. Yeah, that's the way to go. That probably is the way to go. I mean, the guy that we traded for in Lattimore, you would want him to be cornerback number 1, but maybe you do have to go ahead and get a rookie corner. I mean, you look at the team that we just lost to yesterday. They have Quinyon Mitchell, who I think he had a good year. I think he's a little hyped up, but he had a good year. And then they drafted Cooper DeJean, and those guys are playing really, really well. So I know every rookie corner doesn't come and play like that. Mikey Sanders still had a heck of a season. So it takes a learning curve for some rookie cornerbacks for sure. But yeah, we definitely got to draft a corner for sure. Definitely got to draft a corner, receiver, corner, running back. So many positions that we need to attack for sure. Street Dreams, thank you for the donation. He says, I think a couple of additions on defense and a solid running back one changes this whole team. Yes, running back definitely will help change the team. Additions on defense, cornerback, DJ Reed is a guy that I think they should definitely target in free agency. DJ Reed was tweeting about Terry McLaurin yesterday, so he was hyping him up. So that's good news. There's a lot of corners. There's a lot of people that are going to want to sign with the Commanders, which is a good thing according to Adam Schefter. So a lot of people are going to want to come here. Running back one, like I said, I really wouldn't mind Aaron Jones here. I really wouldn't mind that. J.K. Dobbins is a free agent, but of course, there's so many good running backs in the draft. So there's so many good running backs in the draft too. Charvarius Ward for the Niners, he's a free agent. Russell Douglas with the Bills, he's a free agent corner. So the free agent corners are not great. Carlton Davis, who was with the Lions, who got injured, he's a free agent. He's like a top 5 corner. Asante Samuel Jr. from the Chargers, Byron Murphy Jr. from the Vikings, Mike Hilton from the Bengals. Stephon Gilmore is a free agent again from the Vikings. So do they actually decide to bring him in as a free agent corner? Jonathan Jones from the Patriots is a free agent. Nate Hobbs, Paulson Adebo from the Saints. He's really not that good. He's all right, but it's kind of like it's not an incredible free agent corner class, really. So corner, you got to draft a corner too. Excuse me, honestly, that's what you're gonna have to do because the free agent corners is not that great. It's not that great either. Just looking at it. Excuse me. Let's see here. Zach Bond is a free agent for the Eagles. I wonder if a team steals him away. Jordan Lewis from the Cowboys, he's a free agent. He's not that great. So free agent corner is kind of dire there for sure. DJ Reed, and you're gonna have to pay him. So I mean, Adam Peters has to be aggressive. He's gonna have to be aggressive. But running back one for sure. Defensive end, do you upgrade that position? Defensive tackle, do you look for another defensive tackle? Safety, we're fine at with Jeremy Chin and Mikey Sanders still. You already got Johnny Newton coming back. Offensive line, you got to look at both guard spots, in my opinion, with Sam Cosby not being fully healthy for the beginning of next year. Allegretti got pushed back too much for me yesterday. Brandon Coleman, is he a guard or a tackle? So those are some of the positions that you're going to look at. And like you said, solid running back one, you definitely got to attack it. I like the running back free agent class, though. I do like the running back free. I do want to see what Nick Chubb did this year coming back from the injury. I know Nick Chubb had a couple of decent showings this year. He had never mind. Nick Chubb didn't really do much this year at all. He the highest rushing game for Nick Chubb was 59 yards against the Steelers. 20 carries for 59 yards. So never mind. I'm out on Nick Chubb. Even though the Browns just had a bad team. They had a bad quarterback play. But I'm out on Nick Chubb, actually. I'm not. I would not sign Nick Chubb. But Aaron Jones, if they go after Aaron Jones, sign me up. Key, thank you for the donation. He says, I want Mike Green with the 29th pick. Re-sign Young. Now, when you talk about young, are you talking about a guy that was here with the previous regime that was traded last year? Is that the young that you're talking about? So if you are, then yeah, I don't know. Now, Adam Peters, he was a part of the front office that did trade for Chase Young with the 49ers. And Chase Young, I mean, he didn't have a terrible year. He had a decent year. He had a decent some spots and spurts. He had 2 sacks against us. But would I re-sign Chase Young? Not really banging on the table for him, to be honest. I mean, maybe some other defensive ends that are out there that are better, or the draft. The guy from Texas A&M, you could take a look at him at pick 29 possibly. And I gotta look at free agent defensive ends too. But we'll see. So Chase Young, I highly doubt that he comes back. I know he probably would love to come back now since we're winning. Like a lot of people want to hop on the bandwagon and come back. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about bringing Chase Young back. I don't know. Is he going to show up to OTAs now? Is he going to do that if he comes back? Is he going to buy in and lock in? Is he going to do that? So those are some of the things. And Mike Green, the edge rusher, we'll take a look at him. 6'4", 248 pounds out of Marshall. So led the FBS in sacks this season. So that's good. That's good for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what they do at edge. He has 17 sacks on the season. Sophomore, 6'4", 248 pounds out of Williamsburg, Virginia. So somewhat of a local guy too. 3 forced fumbles. So the guy's a dog. He's a dog. We'll see. We'll see. He had 4.5 sacks in 2023 and had 1 sack in 2021. So he had a breakout year this past season. So we'll see. Chris Carter, thank you for the donation. He said it's time to go all in and to build in the offseason. The future is bright. Yeah, I'm pushing the chips in. I'm pushing the chips in. I hope Adam Peters does that too. I hope he's aggressive because looking around the league, other teams are aggressive. Looking around our division, other than the Cowboys, really, and I guess the Giants too, other teams are really aggressive. They really are. The Eagles have been aggressive for years. They went aggressive. They took a swing after A.J. Brown. They drafted Devontae Smith. They took a swing at Saquon Barkley in free agency. They made a move there. So they've been aggressive. They've been aggressive on defense too. They got Darius Slay a couple of years ago. They drafted pretty well. They drafted Jalen Carter. So I mean, yeah, you look at what Howie has done, and they've had some misses along the way. They've had a lot of misses, like Shaq Leonard was a miss, James Bradbury was a miss. Drafting Jalen Reagor was a miss. So they've had their fair share of misses, but all you need is 2 or 3 home runs and you're set. And you're set for sure. So Adam definitely needs to be aggressive. Don't be scared to spend the money. Scared money don't make any money. Scared money don't make any money. No risk it, no biscuit. Basically, straight like that. No risk it, no biscuit. And that's what Adam Peters needs to do. Excuse me. So I'm gonna answer a couple of questions, and then I'm probably gonna roll out. I do want to watch this Wizards game that's coming on. I know that's really the only local sports that's gonna come on. I know the Caps, of course, and the Wizards are getting blown out. Oh my gosh, 16-39. That's just ridiculous. They're so bad. It's ridiculous. They really are. They're 42-16. This is insane. Daniel Gafford has 4 points and 3 rebounds. But yeah, they're just terrible. But thank goodness the Commanders were good this year because we need it. And then I think the Caps are good this year too. But a couple more comments I'm gonna read here. Chris Carter, he is a channel member as well. Shout out to my guy Chris Carter. Chris Carter's been a channel member for some time, for quite some time. So shout out to my guy Chris Carter for the donation and being a channel member. Shout out to Chris Carter. That's my guy, man. He's a good guy for sure. Big time Commanders fan. Big time Commanders fan. Nico Bennett wants Scatterbo. Scatterbo had a great game the other day or a couple weeks ago. My goodness. He had a heck of a game. So, I mean, I know his draft status is going to be going up for sure. DJ Uncle Verge says, Amari Cooper, we definitely need a great route runner in good hands. Yeah, I'm on board for Amari Cooper. I wouldn't mind Amari Cooper. I don't think he's going to break the bank either. I would like Amari Cooper on this roster. And he's a character guy. He fits the character of this team. He's not a guy that's going to pout on the sidelines or read a book on the sidelines. He's going to be locked in. He's not going to show up as quarterback and stuff like that. He's a quiet guy. And not every guy is going to be a church mouse or a quiet guy or just, act like Terry all the time. Terry's just incredible. He's just an incredible human being, incredible leader as well. But Amari Cooper, I think he fits that too. I think his game does more of the talking than him complaining for sure. Amari Cooper, had 1,250 yards in 2023 with Cleveland. He had 1,160 yards in Cleveland in 2022. He had 865 receiving yards in Dallas in 2021, 1,114 yards in 2020. So he still has some left in the tank. He had 44 catches for 547 yards this past season and 4 touchdowns. His longest catch of the year was 30 yards. He had a 75-yard catch with the Browns. When he had Flacco, that's when he was going crazy. Like he put up buku numbers. He had a game for 200 something yards with Joe Flacco. Like he was going off. And I think with JD5, like I think he would do similar stuff. He would do similar stuff with JD5. Being wide receiver number 2 next to Terry McLaurin. Yeah, he had Amari Cooper in 2023. He had a game against the Texans, 11 catches for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like that's what guys do in one season. Like that's a Dion. He had a De'Ami Brown season in one game. And no disrespect to De'Ami because De'Ami had 2 great games. Amari Cooper had 11 catches for 265 yards in one game. Against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 4 catches for 109 yards and 1 touchdown. Against the Bears in 2023, and then against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 7 catches for 77 yards. Against the Cardinals, he had 5 catches for 139 yards. Against the Ravens, he had 6 catches for 98 yards in a game. Against the Seahawks, he had 6 catches for 89 yards in a game. And against San Fran, he had 4 catches for 108 yards. And then against Tennessee, he had 7 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. So Amari Cooper still has some left in the tank. He definitely does. So I wouldn't mind signing him too. I think, honestly, you can sign Amari Cooper to a favorable deal too. Like I don't think you have to break the bank for Amari Cooper. Those are my thoughts. Delano Meyer said if Hassan Reddick didn't get paid, Fowler not getting a payday. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely bring back Dante Fowler. You're probably not gonna have to break the bank for Dante Fowler either to bring him back. And then Hassan Reddick too. Let me look up free agent edge rushers real quick. I just want to see who's going to be available before we wrap up. Excuse me. Free agent edge rushers. Khalil Mack is a free agent. Josh Sweat, who was with the Eagles, he's a free agent. He's always had a good season. Hassan Reddick is a free agent. Malcolm Kuntz is a free agent from the Raiders. Baron Browning, who's with the Cardinals, he's a free agent. Dayo Odeyingbo with the Colts, he's a free agent. Chase Young is a top 10 edge rushing free agent. So yeah, he's a free agent. Like I said, I probably want to bring Azeez Ojulari from the Giants. I'm intrigued by him. He had a good season. DeMarcus Lawrence with the Cowboys. He's a free agent. Excuse me. DeMarcus Lawrence is a free agent. Would you bring in DeMarcus Lawrence? Probably not. Dante Fowler is a top 10 free agent. Top 10 edge rushing free agent. Matthew Judon with the Falcons. He's a free agent. He's not terrible. He's decent. Chauncey Golston with the Cowboys. He's a free agent. Edge rusher. Josh Uche with the Chiefs. He's a free agent. He's not bad. Derek Barnett with the Texans. He's a free agent. Edge rusher. So they probably draft one. I would probably sign one too. But I'm definitely bringing back Dante Fowler. Like I'm definitely bringing back Dante Fowler. There's no way Dante Fowler is signing with a different team. Like we gotta sign him. And then J&E says, I'm done with Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen experience. Neither one of them are game changers for the money they get. That's true. I'm not going to argue against you on that. That's true. That is true. I'm not going to argue on that. They're not playing up to expectations, but they are needed. I'll say that. Played out says need defensive line, offensive line. The trenches have to improve. The trenches have to be better. Like that's the only way you're going to be able to compete. Higgins for $10 million. He's going to laugh at $10 million. He's not taking $10 million. That's not happening. Janella says just fighting. LOL. Raymond Johnson says resign De'Ami Brown, extend Terry, and bring in T. Higgins. Not a bad one with the other receivers. So I'm gonna do rapid fire here, guys, and you guys let me know if you're yay or nay for a free agent bringing these guys back. So I'm gonna say the names, and then you guys let me know what you guys think about the free agents, and I'm gonna head out. Let's see here. Commanders free agent class 2025 over the cap. Bobby Wagner, yes. Marcus Mariota, yes. Bring him back. Jeremy, yes. Bring him back. KJ Osborne, no. He can go. He has more penalties than catches. Cleveland Farrell, yes, I would bring him back on a cheap deal. Tressway, of course, he has more passing yards in the NFC Championship game than Dak Prescott has ever had in an NFC Championship game because Dak Prescott has never reached an NFC Championship game. That's the joke there. Dante Fowler, yes, bring him back. 10.5 sacks on the season. Michael Davis, no. No, yeah, Zach, yes. Cornelius Lucas, swing tackle, yes, bring him back. Michael Dieter, bring him back on a cheap deal. He could be a depth piece. Trent Scott, depth piece. Noah Igbenogany, yes, bring him back. He had a good season. OZ, kind of iffy on bringing him back. Muffed too many punts, had a couple of drops. But I don't mind them bringing him back on a 1 year, $1 million deal. That's what he's on right now. Ben St. Juice, no. We all know the answer to that. Jameson Crowder. I like Jameson Crowder. But if they find better, bring somebody else better in. De'Ami Brown, yes, bring him back. Wide receiver number 3 at best or wide receiver number 4 at best. I don't want him to be in our wide receiver number 2, even though I like him a lot. Noah Brown, same beat, same type beat with Noah Brown. He cannot be our wide receiver number 2 next year. It just can't happen. Even though I like Noah, I do. He'll always go down in history for the Hail Mary, Hail Jaden, Hail Noah, Hail Maryland, whatever you want to call it. Hail Northwest Stadium. Ending the Bears Stadium right there with that Hail Mary catch. But he cannot be Jayden Daniels wide receiver number 2. Adam Peters has to do better than that. But I would bring him back, though. He's 29 years old. We'll see. He's got to stay healthy, though. Nick Bellore, yes, special teams ace. Sheldon Day, yes, depth piece. Jeff Driscoll, yes, backup quarterback. Or do you just want to elevate Sam Hartman to the third-string quarterback? So that's the thing with Jeff Driscoll. Jerry McNichols, the fumble hurt, so no. Even though I like what he did, that fumble in the playoffs is inexcusable. Austin Seibert, no. He missed the extra point against the Cowboys, so that was inexcusable. Zane Gonzalez, maybe. Bring in competition against Zane. Jalen Holmes from Norfolk, yes, bring him back. The defensive end, defensive tackle, yes, bring him back. Michael Walker, special teams guy. John Bates, yes, I would bring him back. He's our best blocking tight end, so yes, I would bring him back. Derek Forrest, let him walk. Let him go on another team where he gets the opportunity to play. Don't just keep him on the practice squad. Don't just keep him on the bench in street clothes. Let him go somewhere else where his dad can complain. Chris Rodriguez, let him go somewhere else where he can actually get a real opportunity instead of being yanked from the practice squad to the 53-man roster. So I would let Chris Rodriguez back. Even though I would like to see him get more opportunities, let him walk so he can get a different – it's kind of like Jaret Patterson. Like, stop playing around with Jaret Patterson. Either you're going to keep him on the roster or let him walk. One or the other. So let Chris Rodriguez do his thing somewhere else. Those are my thoughts on Chris Rodriguez. Crazy Maniac says no to Brown. Are you saying no to De'Ami Brown or no to Noah Brown? Which one? Uptown Dre says both Brown. We need that competition next season with Higgins and a draft wide receiver also. Yeah, if you want to bring back both Browns for competition, yeah, okay. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with bringing back both De'Ami Brown and Noah Brown. I'm fine with that, but they just can't be wide receiver number 2 for me. They just can't. They cannot be wide receiver number 2. But yes, both. I'm fine that both are brought back. Delano Meyer says Terry better than Garrett Wilson. Yeah, he's better than Garrett Wilson. That's a fact. Thomas Power says this owner is going to empty his pockets. He knows how good Jay Dillon is. Yeah, he's not playing around. And the season ticket prices went up. The food went up. Season ticket prices went up. Everything went up. So he's got to fill seats and he's got to get butts in seats. You gotta let this fan base know that you're not playing around. You got to let this fan base know that you're not playing around and that you need to help out your young quarterback. So those are the biggest things that he has to do this all season. Thomas Power says the most important piece is quarterback. We don't have to worry about that. Get this guy some grown men up here. Yes, sir. Get some grown guys up in here and get some guys that fit the culture and they can get the job done. Keep Pounding. What's up, man? Make sure you guys subscribe to Keep Pounding, man. He has a great Panthers channel as always, man. He's holding it down. Bryce Young looked better at the end of the season. They had a good win against the Falcons too. So I'm intrigued to see what the Panthers do this offseason. I'm intrigued to see what those guys do. I'm intrigued to see what you guys do this all season for sure. So make sure you guys subscribe to Keep Pounding, man. He has a great channel, man. Great channel. He's been doing it for years. Awesome content. He is hilarious. There's never a dull moment on his channel for sure. And he did Fan to Fan a couple years ago as well. He's a great guy. Brian Papp has an HTCC awesome season. Ed, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And David Valentine says, Crazy Man, he says, we don't need to bring back De'Ami Brown unless he's a number 3 receiver. All talk all the time says Terry Higgins Godwin would feed families. Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. I'm a big Chris Godwin fan. I'm a big Chris Godwin fan. Cerulean Saya says, I appreciate you. I'll never forget this season. Yeah, man. I thank you for watching this season. I myself will never, ever, 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 ever forget this season. I mean, this was the most fun season I've ever watched. Yeah. This was the most fun season I've ever watched as a Commanders fan, and this will definitely go down in stone. And this was an enjoyable season. This will go down history for sure. I mean, I'm still just not in shock, but it was a fun season, man. It really was. This was a fun season, guys. It was fun. You can look back on this, and I'm just happy that I was able to witness this, and that my kids were able to witness this. I'm just happy. I'm super happy about that. Like I said yesterday in my video, my son, he knows all the players' names. He's 5 years old. You know, he's like, oh, what does Zach Ertz do? Like, he'll talk to me after the game. He'll be like, what does Zach Ertz do? What did B-Rob do? Like, because he goes to bed at 7. We had a couple late night games. He'll wake up in the morning like, how did B-Rob do? How did Zach Ertz do? How did Terry McLaurin do? And a lot of that stuff is just heartwarming stuff for me. So just hearing that Jaden Daniels, like, ask about Jaden Daniels and stuff like that, for him to do that at the age of 5 just shows you how good of a season that we had. So that was just awesome. Just generational season, guys. So, I mean, heck of a season. It was so fun to enjoy it with you guys and witness this season with you guys. It really was. Last one here, guys. Uptown Drake, thank you for the donation. He says, keep prospering with your content. Comrade. Salute, man. I appreciate it. Keep pounding it. Frankie Lou was a dog, man. Thank you for Frankie. I thank you guys for helping us get Frankie, for letting him go in free agency. STP says, good job covering the Skins this year. Many more to come. Uptown Dre, once again, thank you for the donation. As always, keep prospering. Yes, I will do my best to do that. I would do that. I know it feels weird not having another game. It really does, man. It does. It feels weird. I was just getting ready for the Super Bowl. I really was. I was preparing myself for another game, but this was a heck of a season. I couldn't have asked for a better. I mean, I could have asked for a Super Bowl, but if you would have asked me in September, I could not have asked for a better season than what we got. This was fun, guys, and I think they all left it out on the field. Even though it was a terrible game yesterday and fumbles, I think they definitely gave almost everything they could give out there this season. They really did. They did. So, as always, guys, hell to the Commanders, left hand up, heck of a season, darn good culture. We have a darn good culture right now. Darn good culture for sure. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. As always, so much fun. Hell to Commanders, y'all. Peace.